Welcome to Quadrant International, outstanding asset protection for high net worth individuals. Welcome. So the outline of the presentation is what is important to you. We're going to look at the main benefits of the scheme, the asset types. We're going to look how you can protect your assets and increase your tax-free cash. We're going to take a look at the criteria for membership, explore what is Quadrant, look at how you become a member, deal with any questions. So first of all, we'll go through a disclaimer. The presentation is for information purposes only. The information provided does not constitute financial or tax advice by Quadrant International or any of its representatives. Information given is to believe to be up to date, but is subject to review or changes such as legislation. All the figures are used for illustration purposes only, and any decision made by participants to act on the basis of the information given is entirely at their own discretion and risk. But we thoroughly recommend that participants should seek financial and tax advice. So the question is, what is most important to you? Having more cash now? Accessing a frozen or poorly performing pension? Paying less income tax? Or avoiding inheritance tax? Or avoiding long-term care costs? Or is it protecting your assets from divorce? Protecting assets from bankruptcy? Growing your money through investment? Or avoiding capital gains tax on property? How good are your current arrangements? Are they working for you? The key benefits of the scheme. Well, you can get 25% tax-free cash. You can opt out of some income tax. You can avoid inheritance tax, avoid care home costs, protect against divorce and bankruptcy, leave 100% of your money to the loved ones. In other words, it's intergenerational, unlike many schemes. What's exciting is there's no minimum or maximum retirement age. That's right, there's no minimum or maximum retirement age, which means you can retire now if you choose to. There's no need to buy into an annuity, and there's no lifetime allowances. In fact, many schemes have a capped lifetime allowance. This one does not. You can avoid capital gains tax, specify what you want to invest in if you choose to, and there's no need to live overseas or have complicated company structures. The scheme can affect the following and accept the following. You can use cash on deposit. You can use existing tax schemes like EBTs or FERBs, etc. You can also import existing pension schemes like PFA, SIPs and SASs. More importantly, you can accept any other assets of intrinsic value. Property, that's both residential, that's residential property, so you can put your own house even though it's got a mortgage on it. Gold, jewellery, art, anything that has an intrinsic value can be placed into the scheme. And as I mentioned before, it's based on an intergenerational trust which enhances existing estate planning. Okay, here's an example here of how it could work. So let's suppose you've got a house which is worth about $500,000 and the trust value is 500,000 cash. So it's got a mortgage of 200,000 and the equity of 300,000. So using reversionary interest, an individual or couple can release 50% of their equity in the house from their fund. So that means they can take 25% of the fund as tax-free cash, that's £125,000, and using the reversionary interest, they can take an extra £150,000. So that's £275,000 tax-free and interest-free, and the loan is repaid when your trust back to your trust when you die or on death of a second party. So that's one option. So what's the criteria for membership of Quadrant? Well, Scheme 1 is for an individual pension or trust, and you need a minimum net asset value of £500,000 in a pension fund or liquid. It can be made up of cash or other assets. There is a charge inbound charge of 10% of the asset level, and an annual charge of 1%. However, do bear in mind currently that inheritance tax is at 40%, and there are some quite famous people that wish they were in this scheme when they went through divorce, etc. Some famous cases recently paid 10 million during a divorce, so horses for courses. Scheme 2 is salary sacrifice, so the minimum employer contribution is £50,000 per annum. So the maximum contribution has to be 40% of regular salary. So this is made up for a company or an individual of a high net earning capability. And it can pay up to 100% of regular payments and bonuses. Now, that could be for appearance fees or certain bonuses that you might get could be 100%. Could go into that, and that's of course subject to tax advice. So this could accrue a major tax saving to companies and individuals in the higher tax brackets. So what is Quadrant? It's a pan-European occupational pension scheme. It's recognised by HMRC, and it's fully compliant with UK and EU law. It has three main components: QROPS, ROPS and OPS, and it has three jurisdictions: Guernsey, Malta and Cyprus. And Quadrant is ahead of its competitors because it is fully compliant with the Finance Act of 2011. So what makes the scheme so good? It's fully UK and EU recognised and compliant. It is designed for high net worth clients, specifically designed for high net worth clients. Members own and control their own assets if they choose, so like a SIP, but more flexible and more tax efficient. With a SIP, for instance, you couldn't put a residential property in, you can put commercial in, but with this scheme you can actually put a residential property in, whether it's mortgaged or not. Some benefits are unique to the Quadrant scheme, such as retirement age. There's no minimum retirement age and there's no maximum. It has a good tax-free cash capability and asset protection. And it's very discreet. Because it's placed in a trust, assets are held privately and are not disclosed. So who's behind the scheme? It's designed and constructed by our associates, who are advisors to the UK government on trust and pensions. Our associates also advise the UK government on the Finance Act and investigating tax evasion schemes. We have world-renowned trustees such as KPMG and Hewitt's Associates. And the tax advisors to the scheme are Smith & Williamson, one of the UK's top 10 largest firms of accountants. So how do I become a member? Well, you need to sign a confidentiality agreement and keep a copy. Check your information pack for more details. You can get one of those. You can meet to discuss your situation and plans. Your IFA or accountant is welcome to attend. An illustration of how membership can benefit your personal circumstances will be given to you, and if you meet the membership criteria coordinated by Quadrant International and Quadrant appointed representatives, then we can move forward. So no doubt you've got questions, and if you're interested and you want to move it forward, then the next step then is to fill in your details on the right hand side. In the box there, just put your name and email address. Your name and email address. So thank you very much indeed for listening, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side.